Hey, what up, Husker Nation? Thanks for tuning in to another video from Just Two Dudes. My name's Louie.
My name's Seth.
I'm the dad.
And I'm the son.
Alright. What we'd like to talk about in this video is the site for the Big 12 championship game. I know the powers that be, which are any team that plays in the South, pretty much have had their say. I mean, the headquarters of the Big 12 are already in Texas, and now they're trying to make Jerry Jones' new stadium there in Dallas the permanent site for the Big 12 championship game. You know, I can understand that. It's the nicest football facilities in the world.
Yeah, not in the country, the world.
The world.
Yeah.
Anything that happens at the Jerry Dome is going to have massive amounts of media coverage. Right. Which, I mean, the Big 12 championship game is going to get that no matter what.
Right, but it's going to get especially more in Texas, in Jerry's Dome. And
the other argument that I understand is the Big 12 championship game always has national title implications, and the reason for that is Oklahoma and Texas. We'll give it to you there. Yeah. I mean, they have carried this whole decade. It's not even debatable. I mean, we started out playing for the national championship, but we didn't even win the Big 12 championship in 2001. Right. So Oklahoma and Texas have carried the Big 12 as far as football goes this whole decade. A few teams pop up there every now and then, but Missouri, Kansas, Texas Tech. They are every single year. Just they're pretty much the best the Big 12 has to offer. And the country has to offer as well. That too. Some of the things that we do not like about the permanent site being in Dallas. I just think it's really unfair. I mean, the fact that you are asking a Big 12 North school to play a road game every single year, like this next year. You know, if we have to play Texas and maybe for the right to move on to a national championship when it was just in Texas, I don't see how that's fair. I know, you know, Kansas City, where, you know, how they switch from Kansas City and Texas pretty much every year, but I know the weather's not always that good in Kansas City, and I think that's part of the reason why they want it to be permanently in Dallas, because if, you know, the weather's nice, they don't have to worry about snow. But here's the thing, it's not fair to make a North team play a road game for a Big 12 championship title every single year. And for Nebraska fans, Colorado fans, Kansas State, and Iowa State, to make the drive to KC or St. Louis is a little bit easier for us than drive all the way to Dallas, which is about a 9 to 10 hour trip. Right. Like basically, you need 2 days to do that. Yeah, like if it's in Kansas City, like the last time we went to the Big 12 championship game, and it was in Kansas City against Oklahoma in 2006. We drove up, we watched the game, we drove back. Yeah, it's a one-day trip for most of the fans for the North. Yeah. And you know what this permanent site in Dallas reminds me of, Husker fans? It reminds me of the old Orange Bowl situation, where every single year for our biggest game of the year, we had to play Florida State in Florida. We had to play Miami in their own home stadium. We had to play Florida in Florida. Yeah. And I just don't see how that's fair. How about bringing Florida or Florida State or Miami to Lincoln, Nebraska on January 2nd? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Now, that would be a definite home field advantage for us. Oh yeah. What else you got? Well, I have one other pro. It's about really the only pro me and you could find for playing in Texas every single year. We all know in the Big 12, we just did a video on it, Texas high school football is what you need to get recruits from Texas to compete in the Big 12. Yeah. It's just how the conference, it's how teams win the conference. It's having great Texas players. So playing every single year in Texas, if you show up to play and you have a good game, it can really help out your recruiting. Right. Like this past year, we didn't win. We were a second away, controversial call away from winning that game,
those Texas football players that were there, they see that and they start hearing about it.
It's the biggest news in Texas that day.
Right. Well, that too. And then it's just another way to get our name out to recruits.
Right. You know, and it may seem like Nebraska fans are being crybabies. Well, plain and simple, we are being. It's just it's not fair that the South has the home field advantage every single year. Yeah. We would like to see it rotate between Dallas, St. Louis, and Kansas City, or even Dallas, Houston, Kansas City. Just make it fair. That's all we're saying.
Not right there by Austin, Texas, every single year.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
So we just want what's fair. Yeah. That's our take on this.